Welcome back to the garage here at Basin Motorsports. I'm Canaan, and behind me is the 2004 Corvette Z06 known as the Bat. So if you've watched the channel recently, you knew I bought this, and my one big goal for it was to drive it on a lot more long distance road cruises. So recently I took it on the Limitless Road Rally Ghost Town Rally. Now this was a rally from Redmond, Oregon out to La Grande, Oregon, and stay overnight. The next day, go from La Grande back to Redmond. So this is kind of how the story unfolded. Welcome back to the garage here at Basin Motorsports. It is rally time. So we are kicking off the official first time I'm heading out with the Limitless Road Rally. Good golly, that's hard to say. Limitless Road Rally. This is going to be, I guess, the second weekend in October 2021. It's called the Ghost Town Rally. Well, they call it the GTR. So here's what we got going on. Corvette is loaded up. So I got my laptop in there just so I can take a bunch of footage and take it off. I have a bag full of good stuff, which is my own. You know, it says Basin Motorsports. I've got tools, check engine scanner if I need it. I have a couple quarts of oil, some coolant, and a bottle of AMSOIL upper cylinder lubricant just to put in here as I'm driving. You can already see I've already taken it out. It is dirty, but the Vet is going to be way dirtier than this. So once I was packed, I was on my way up there. So I went up the night before on Friday night. It just figured it was going to be easier rather than driving the 2.5 hours to try and get there by 9 or 9:30 to make the start of the rally. So I went up the night before. No issues there. Car ran great all the way up, and I actually ate at Applebee's, had a nice quiet meal, and then went back to the hotel and did some work. So the next morning I got up and everybody showed up on time. We were at a driver's meeting about 9. And at 9:30 we all got in our cars and single file left out to go on the rally. So the route for the day on the way out was broke up into 6 different waypoints. Now here's the map of what they provided, so you can kind of see where it goes out and around all the way up to La Grande. From the bottom left at Redmond to the right, you can follow the arrows of all the different places. So in stages 1 and 2, you see that we left Excellent Auto, Skull Hollow Campground, then went out to Antelope, Oregon. We stopped on 4th Street in Shannico, Oregon, then went out to Condon, where you had the option to go to the Sinclair gas station and get some gas, or to the drive-in, which is where everybody was going to stop for lunch. Now, immediately from the get-go, we had probably 40 to 50 cars. I didn't get a real accurate count, and I didn't keep up with it, but I can tell you there was a lot. And we mixed through Redmond, Oregon, which is 2 or 3 lanes of just chaos and traffic. So immediately everybody was broken up, and because I was at the very back and didn't know anybody in the rally, I immediately got lost. So there was a black truck that I was following that I could keep up with, but eventually even that in traffic, I lost. So while we had GPS to go with, it was a lot of chaos. I was trying to keep up with GPS, not get rear-ended, not rear-end anybody, and eventually I just kind of went on my own route. So somewhere along the way, I missed a turn where I knew the black truck went, but I had to turn around and go back. So after that happened, somewhere along the way, I think we missed Skull Campground. I was able to find the Shannico Fossil Highway, and we made it through Antelope, and then we moved on to Shannico onto 4th Street. So along the way, I knew there were 3 cars ahead of me. There was a couple Subarus, the black truck, and then myself. So we get all the way up there. At that point, they're already coming back because I'm so far behind. I'm having a good time. Otherwise, I get there, I take a picture of this Texaco station, which is off to the side. Not a gas station, but it's just somebody, I think it's a fan. So as I'm coming down the hill, the black truck stopped me and they said, hey, by the way, there was a car that lost a coolant line, and so it spilled coolant all over. Everybody's back down there at Antelope. Now I'm thinking, wait a second, how in the world did we get past like 40 other cars to get ahead of them? Well, what I think we did, and when I talked to the owner of the black truck, he had said, well, I kind of got lost and I only knew where I was going based on GPS. Well, GPS, I think, routed that truck to go the quickest way, not the scenic way. So I think everybody else went out to Skull Campground and took the scenic route, Well, the rest of us that got lost followed GPS, and it took us the quickest way to get there. So as I'm coming back down into Antelope, guess what? There's all the other cars going back out, going up to Shaniko. So I turned around, followed along, and there was a nice section of curves that you could really kind of get into. Now, it's hard to drive and trying to hold a camera up here, but listen to the car as we're going through this. I really had a blast doing this. Now, once we got to the top, we all kind of took a break. I was able to catch up with everybody. Everybody was there, so we were there 20 minutes or so. Had one person that couldn't get their gas cap open for whatever reason, but we got it. They got some gas. And then we moved on to Condon. So again, I was at the very back of the pack. We all got out to Condon. Now, the range on the Corvette, it'll get somewhere in the 400-mile range on a tank. So, since we're only doing like 330 miles on the trip, I didn't even worry about getting gas. I just went over, ordered lunch, sat down with everybody. And again, we were probably there a good hour or so. I had a cheeseburger, fries, and a small Butterfinger shake. And it was awesome. So that concluded stages 1 and 2. Now 3 and 4 moved on to Heppner. We then went next to the Boyer store in Monument. And we ended the 4th stage at OK Garage in Long Creek. So again, I was at the back of the pack. I was trying to pair my phone with my radio, and that was giving me a lot of fits. So I was at the back, and I knew I was going to hold everybody up anyway because they were going a lot faster than I was, I guess, happy to go, and really didn't want to miss all the scenes. It was beautiful country out there. So I kind of stayed at the back, and we got all the way up there. We stopped in Long Creek at the Boyer Cash store. I missed everybody. I saw them, but they were pulling out as I was coming into it, so they were gone again. We got to Long Creek, everybody stopped, and at that point I was just like, you know what? My headlights aren't great on the Corvette, so I took a head start on them. Now, GPS for me, it was already, I think, 5 o'clock by the time we were there, and I think we were behind schedule. So stages 5 and 6 was Galena, Bates, Union, and then to La Grande. And I don't know how long it was going to take, but I tell you what, by 5 o'clock I was already wore out. So I just cruised on my own, just kind of set it on cruise a little bit. I stopped for a couple places for some pictures, and I got into La Grande after 7 o'clock. Now, everybody, a lot of others were going to go camp, and I'll tell you what, camping in a Corvette sounds terrible. So I decided to stay in a hotel for the night, went to the hotel. I then kind of cruised around. They were having a meet at Bi-Mart that I ended up skipping because I was cold, I was tired, I was tired of being in the car. So I went and got some taco time, went back to the hotel, talked to my wife on the phone a little bit, and that was it. I was wiped out. So anyway, I got up the next morning and decided that I was not going to go on the daily route from La Grande back to Redmond. So when I talked to my wife the night before, she had said, you know, I looked at the weather report and they said late afternoon into early evening, it is going to rain and or snow. And so I was thinking, as much as everybody else is probably from Redmond or in the area, now granted there were some from Washington and Idaho and around, but I knew that if we went from La Grande, left at 9 and got back to Redmond at 5, I still had 2.5 hours of interstate to get down to home. That would put me into the 7:30 to 8 o'clock range of getting back. So I said, you know what? What's the quickest route to get home? Now that ended up being from La Grande, going all the way over I-84 down to Biggs Junction and down 97, or Highway 97, down through Madras, Bend, Redmond, etc., all the way down home. That was still 7 hours via GPS. So I decided the heck with that. I was going to do the 7-hour route, which ended up taking me over 8 hours. One is I had to stop for gas on the way. 2, I stopped for some lunch to take a break, and I really wasn't in that big of a hurry. It was kind of nice just kind of cruising along. and I got home almost about 4 o'clock. So again, I was tired of driving all day, took a quick nap, did my farm chores, and sure enough, at 7:30, when I probably would have been getting home, it started to rain. And I can tell you what, the Corvette was already in the garage, and I was happy. I was happy to be done with driving that distance. Had put on 932 miles in less than 48 hours, just a skosh under 48 hours. But I tell you what, it was a blast to do. I will gladly look at doing another road rally again. But I'll tell you what, I learned a lot of things along the way. So that'll be another video of the things that a road rally taught me about the Corvette and things that I screwed up not planning for. So that's it. That's my story of going on the Limitless Ghost Town Rally. Now I know they are planning 1 to 2 more rallies in 2022 because it's starting to get to that time where it's going to snow and it's time to put the cars like this in the garage for the winter and put them up. So that's it for this time. Thanks for stopping by, listening to my story. And if you have a chance to go on a rally, I say do it. We'll see you next time.